We're back. Your favorite podcast show of the week. It's Location Weekly. It's episode number 636. We're recording on September the 5th. And as you can see, if you're watching the video part of this, Brianna's taking some time off. So Karsten is kindly agreed to fill in from Europe with us this week. So, Karsten, how are you?
Oh, it's great. It's the end of summer, so a long weekend for you guys and also for us was the last two weekends. But yeah, conference season is kicking off. So a lot of conferences are going on. So I attended last week the IFA event in Berlin. We had our first retail tour in the retail garage with the Arrive product. So ERR, International Automotive Show, is going on in Munich. My team is there. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on right now. So we are in the final of the year. I didn't realize that, but I can see it.
Yeah. I agree. It's definitely, I mean, here we had the holiday yesterday, long weekend, but kids are back to school today. Everybody's back, at work and moving, and conference season's definitely there. I'm heading to a sponsorship marketing conference at the end of the month in Chicago. We have obviously LB Mays in Japan in October. We have Retail Loco just around the corner, November 1st and 2nd in Atlanta. So there's lots happening and lots of things to gear up for. So, which means it's a busy end of the year. So it's good.
It is always. Always the strongest months is September, October, and the beginning of November. It was always in our industry, and it will be. So let's go for
Yeah.
that.
All right. So we have four stories for you this week to cover. I will start off this week and then hand over to Karsten. So the first story we want to talk about is a story about a collaboration of some companies coming together to do some interesting things with Google Creator. So Rock Paper Reality has teamed up with Google's Geospatial Creator and Adobe's Aero platform to create location-based augmented reality experiences. And so they're showcasing this right now in San Francisco at the Paper Tree origami store in Japantown in San Francisco, where the neighborhood has been kind of transformed with 3D digital origami artwork, which you can kind of sort of access as a consumer, if you will, through a QR code. So it's very interesting because I think what's one of the unique pieces of how they combine this technology together is you have sort of photorealistic 3D tiles coming from Google Maps platforms. You have, sort of the QR code generation aspect of this. You have the digital content all kind of coming together. But a lot of this can be created now for the first time without somebody having to come and visit the property or the location and doing a scan to capture all the imagery that is then kind of powering this experience. So I think it's really cool from that point of view. The Adobe Aero platform is both iOS and Android. So from a developer point of view, you're supported there on both major platforms. I think if you're a brand or retailer, it's a great way to create kind of new geolocated experiences on properties, for visitors to those properties. And I think it's also like from an analytics point of view, you can kind of pull location analytics data from this in terms of visitations and patterns related to that, foot traffic patterns and so on, which obviously, as in my world at ground level with my startup, this is something we care a lot about in terms of pulling the interaction elements of that. So I think this is really interesting. They launched this experience in May of this year, so it's still relatively new, but it's powered by 15 years of Google Maps and Street View data, and all the other tile information that they have in there. So I think there's a lot of potential in it. We'll see where it goes. Any thoughts from you, Karsten?
Absolutely. So they're friends of us in the industry because, may you know, so the arrived product is the mother company is Smarmony. So we're in the same space of extended reality, doing a lot of projects around that. And very often it comes to the point how we can locate this object in the physical world. And now having access to this kind of data from Street View and also Google Maps to point it directly where it should be, it's a game changer at the end of the day. So, and it's just the beginning of, yeah, having this layer on the physical world, which allows us to place digital assets on it. And as you had in the last location weekly, yeah, there is a point of interest, and the point of interest in this kind of maps, and we can combine them with services and enrich them. So it makes 100% sense to me, and it will help the whole industry. And as you know, augmented reality is still waiting for the big year of augmented reality, but with yeah, Apple having now the Vision Pro out next year, there's a lot of attention in the market, and you see also now teaming up the guys from Meta together, building the new device, and all those kind of things in the ecosystem that helps us. And yeah, it's super helpful for the industry, and it's yeah, in terms of creator side, it's just a useful tool to yeah, develop better experiences in augmented reality, which we definitely need as a showcase and all the business case. Yeah.
All right, on to our
Next.
next story.
Next story, jumping from augmented reality into food. Yeah, a company called Mezli, located in San Francisco Spark Social Food Court, is opened the first fully robotic restaurant where no humans are involved on site. So, in a collaboration between the Stanford engineers and a Michelin star chef, they demonstrate how robots can be used in restaurants to reduce costs and potentially offer better working conditions for staff. And this is what I have to clarify. So, what they do is they have their fully automatic kitchen at the end of the day. So you can order Mediterranean style bowls via touch screen and digital assets, and the robots will just um, build this bowl in a container sized building and prepare your meal. So the only human who is involved in that whole process is someone who is just prepare the ingredients for the robots. So just filling up the machines at the end of the day. So this is more or less the story behind that. And the idea is to, yeah, we all know there's a big lack of workers in the restaurant and hospitality industry, and there's still the need that we have access to food, and we want to go to a restaurant and we order some food, but if we don't have workers or it's out of one of these yeah, peak times where it is yeah, cost effective to have real workers there, so maybe a robot can help. So I love the idea to make this happen. I'm pretty sure that we will face some major challenges with that, as we can see, and also in retail we have this fully automated stores in various ways. We'll have to figure out or what can be good. Once, for sure, cost efficiency. Yeah, robots can be significant reduce costs in the restaurant business. Yeah, because this is the highest cost you have in the restaurant. Yeah, but on the other hand, how you interact with a machine when it comes to food. Is that a quality thing? Is it something you rely on a chef? Whatever. So that's interesting. I'm not sure about the better working conditions they mentioned in their press release because, yeah, at the end of the day, there's one person alone just filling the machine. We don't know how that works, and the loss of human touch. But in general, I love the idea just to bring this technology of automatization into the hospitality industry. And I think it's just the early stage. We saw these robots just helping servers. These are common right now. And now we're going into the kitchen and see what we can automate there. Yeah, what about your thoughts about that?
I I think you're right with everything you said. I think the other factor for me is not just the labor shortage issues, but the real estate costs. For acquiring real estate to actually build and open restaurants these days is not cheap, right? So it's getting more and more expensive. So if you can have a smaller footprint location, because you don't have to have all the staff in the kitchen and everything there to
Social
prepare that.
rooms, you need something where they can wash their hands and just
Yeah,
hang out in
all of
in
that
their
kind of stuff.
breaks. Yeah,
You're saving money there. There's also the safety, food safety issues and all those kinds of things that can be, sort of managed better. If it's robots and things like that, so reduce costs there. So I think there are a lot of cost savings that come from a model like this. I think, as you say, the downside to all of this obviously is that human interaction piece, and can you giving feedback to the Michelin star chef and so on, and all those things that happen in traditional restaurants. But I guess that's the evolution of online reviews and things like that too. So I think it's interesting. I guess maybe the next time I'm in San Francisco, I will have to go and pay a visit and see what it's like.
yeah, absolutely. We have to figure that out. And I remember the first automatic server restaurant in the Europa Park. What is 15 years ago, 12, I don't know, something like that, where they served your food on a kind of a railway system, to the table. And yeah, it's still entertaining, and I guess maybe the success of this kind of restaurants will be this entertainment factor. You remember the hotel in New York? We have this suitcase storage with the robot. Yeah, that was just one of these attraction points.
Yeah, for sure. So I think a lot of possibilities, but yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. All right,
Absolutely.
moving on to our third story now. So Coca-Cola has teamed up with WPP's Open X team and is using AI to generate some interesting QR codes. So obviously, we're all familiar with QR codes, but they, as part of a campaign that they have going on called "Be Who You Are," Real Magic. So this is a collaboration with a number of major musical artists that are part of this. New Jeans, Camilo, Cat Burns, John Baptiste. Some interesting things going on here. But what they've done is they've kind of used AI to basically generate artistic QR codes. So like these aren't just your regular QR codes or a QR code where the company's logo is in the middle of it. This is a complete piece of art that is generated by AI and made so that it's a scannable QR code all at once. I think it's really interesting. I saw some examples of some of the QR codes. So there's like images, rock, abstract, sci-fi kind of feel to them. So it's really interesting what you can do with, when essentially you put an artist, an AI artist in this case, to create a QR code. And I think, we're going to see more and more, sort of creative uses of AI. Obviously, we've talked a lot about, using it for video generation or using it for music generation or things like that. But using it to generate, art pieces, that are in the form of QR codes, and then putting them out as out-of-home displays or at movie theaters or stadiums or places where people can scan them, where Coca-Cola is already a sponsor, let's say, and engage with it that way, I think is really kind of interesting.
Absolutely. And I love the idea to use AI to make some useful art, let's call it like this. But I
Yeah.
remember the old times where nobody knew what a QR code is. So the best and hardest story to tell everybody was, well, you have to scan this. So now everybody learned how to scan a QR code, and now we explain you have to scan this piece of art to do something. So this is a communication path. So let's see how they figure that out. And on the other hand, it's just it's a logical step, because we are coming out of the age of QR codes into an age of where you can scan everything. So image recognition will be around in every yeah, environment doesn't matter if it's retail or outside in a park. So you scan a tree, the tree can be recognized and say, oh, this age of the tree, this is the piece of wood comes from, those kind of things, and this is image recognition, and therefore we need AI at the end of the day to train it. And I love the idea that Coke takes into that step in the journey and say, right, let's find out, let's try to educate people, scan random things like this piece of art, and next time they scan just my can from Coke, and maybe something happens then too. So yeah, it's coming all together, and it's yeah, I don't know if it's useful, but it's nice to see to use AI to have some art pieces. We all played around with Midjourney, making some pictures, but yeah, so that's cool. I like it.
Awesome. All right, final story.
Final story. A company called Olyns is actually offering recycling solutions and digital out-of-home retail media network. So that sounds in the first step kind of interesting. Come to that later. And they partnered up with Screeners, which is obviously an ad management firm. And so what they do, they have recycled out-of-home media networks built it. They call it the Cubes. They are equipped with 55-inch HD video displays, and they are strategically placed near retail stores and entrances from retail stores, and they play out video there. And so the idea behind this partnership is to use these cubes from Olyns to play out, yeah, just traditional retail media. Well, traditional is maybe the wrong word, but retail media content, and also start a discussion about recycling. And so this partnership at the end of the day promotes sustainable practices by recycled displays, for examples. And at the end of the day, yeah, they're building a new media network, and it's an eye catcher. So this is the story. I'm not pretty sure what's super cool on this, so I will start a conversation with you, Asif, about it. I
Yeah.
like the idea to reuse screens and build out of something, but I know a lot of problems about that. So what do you think?
Yeah, so there's been a number of companies like Olyns now get into what we call reverse these sort of reverse vending machines. So we're
Yeah,
all familiar with the old vending machines where you go and you put your money in and you get your chocolate bar or your bag of chips or your pop or whatever it is you're getting out of that. So this is the opposite. Like these are vending machines
yeah,
that have digital screens on them running ads, and so now that screen network is what's now part of Screenverse, from a monetization perspective. But the reverse vending machine part of it is really interesting. So these machines with these screens are outside of retail stores now, grocery stores, drugstores, shopping malls, gas stations, wherever they have them. And so when you take some kind of plastic or aluminum container, like a pop can, or the packaging from your candy or whatever it is, and you put it into the machine, you're basically earning rewards,
yeah,
or you're getting some sort of discounts on future products from that store or other things like that. So it's a way to encourage recycling, because the machine's basically collecting, the plastic or metal or glass products that are used. Obviously, then they turn them around and recycle them and turn them into other things. But what this story is really about is yes, encouraging recycling, the rewards component of it, but the screen network that sits on these machines, not unlike, for example, like a gas station TV, where you go to the gas station, you have the pump, you're getting your fuel, but there's this sort of screen network that sits there promoting and selling and advertising different products and services. And that's essentially what they're doing here. They were doing it, for themselves, and now they've joined in with Screenverse, and Screenverse is basically saying, we'll help you monetize and sell that inventory as part of our bigger network, that includes Vistar and BroadSign and others who are part of that. So I think it's good for Olyns. I think this, widens their reach. I think there's a lot of possibilities in where this can go. And I think the whole notion of recycling and reverse vending machines is still in its infancy, and I think there's a lot of opportunity to grow in this space.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's our show for this week. You've been listening and watching episode number 636 of Location Weekly. I want to remind everybody that our Retail Loco conference is just around the corner. It is November 1st and 2nd in Atlanta. And this year, we're really excited that we're doing this in partnership with Simon Malls and Nobu Hotels at their signature Phipps Plaza property in Atlanta. So if you don't have your ticket yet, just go to thelbma.org and check out the events page, and you can see how to register there for the conference. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor, we'd love to have you there as well. We now have a number of great sponsors already lined up, from Arrive that Carson mentioned, Ground Level Insights, Ground Truth, In Market, and others that are
Happy Old Media Group.
Yeah, so we'd love to have you as well. So just reach out to either of us on LinkedIn or social media, where we can find us, and we can help you get connected on that as well. And with that, we'll see you next week for another show. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. Bye.